This week leading up to the trade deadline has been absolutely insane. We have more trades to talk about today. Jonathan Quick is now a Vegas Golden Knight, Tyler Bertuzzi is a Boston Bruin, and the Bruins have also signed David Pastrnak. We're going to talk about all of that in this video today, but before we do get into it, if you guys are new to the channel and you like hockey content, please make sure to hit subscribe. Okay, let's first start off with the Jonathan Quick trade because this has been such an interesting story from the beginning. It all started on Tuesday night when, just after a big win from the Kings, they traded away Jonathan Quick to the Columbus Blue Jackets in exchange for Korpisalo and Gavrikov. Now, just the trade itself is already pretty crazy. I mean, you have Jonathan Quick, who is a legend with the Kings. He's won multiple cups, he has records with you, and he's also in his last year of his deal, and he's probably not going to play next season. Plus, you currently are in a playoff spot. Like, the Kings are second place in the Pacific, so you have all of that, and you take that legend, and you trade him to the Columbus Blue Jackets, who are last place in the NHL. That is already a very interesting story. But on top of all of that, apparently the Kings didn't communicate this trade to Quick, or at least didn't do a very good job about it, because Quick was shocked about this trade and upset. The rest of the team as well. I mean, there was reports that Anze Kopitar, who had scored 4 goals that night, was visibly upset. So the fact that, they didn't really communicate this trade with Quick is pretty surprising, although technically they weren't obligated to because he does not have a no movement clause, so the Kings could have traded him anywhere, and I mean, that's what they did. But when you have a legend with Quick, like I said before, I feel like you should, just out of respect, you should at least let him know that you're shopping him and looking around, just out of respect. And I know, it's not about friendships or anything like that. It is a business, but I still just think, respectfully, when you have a guy like Quick, you probably should let him know, especially considering the fact that he probably was pretty excited to have one last shot with the Kings, one last chance at that Stanley Cup, and instead of that happening, he's traded away to the last place team in the league. That definitely would be very frustrating, very upsetting as well. So I understand where Quick is coming from. I understand his perspective, but when he was in Columbus, just those short few days, apparently they did a very good job with him. They talked to him right away, saying that they were looking to flip him and trade him to a contender as well, which I think makes sense for Columbus. There's no point in them having Jonathan Quick. He's not doing that fantastic this year, and also, he's not going to re-sign with you next year, so, there's no point in having them. There really isn't. So the fact that they did flip him here for picks and everything like that, I think is a smart move. And the official trade is Quick going to the Vegas Golden Knights for Michael Hutchinson and a 2025 7th round pick. I love this trade just for the storyline. Not only is Vegas a team that's had their own controversy not too long ago with their franchise goaltender and Marc-Andre Fleury, but of course LA and Vegas are division rivals, and they are currently first and second place in the Pacific as well. So it's kind of possible that they could face in the playoffs, and if that happens, oh my god, I am so here for it, and I want it to happen so bad. I mean, there are a lot of playoff matchups that I want to happen. New Jersey and the New York Rangers, that would be great, but with this one here, this is the one that I want. This is the one that I need. I think it would be so cool if they faced in the first and second round. It kind of depends, obviously, what happens with the rest of the Pacific, but it's possible they could face in either one of those rounds, and I would absolutely love to see that. Now, it is possible that Quick might not actually play in the playoffs because the Golden Knights do already have 2 pretty decent goaltenders. They have Adin Hill, who's played 25 games this season with a 9.12, and Logan Thompson, who is their starter. He's only played 19 games, has a 9.14 save percentage. He's been injured though. He got injured in February, and apparently he's week to week, and it doesn't really look like he's coming back anytime soon, but I would think that he would return for the playoffs there, which would push Quick out of the lineup, or at least I assume that would be the case. With Quick, like I said, he's not having that great of a season. In 31 games, he has an 876 save percentage, but last year he did have a little bit of a resurgence. In 46 games, he had a 910, so I could see him being really motivated for the playoffs if he does end up playing in the playoffs and just play out of his mind. I mean, he had that fantastic run in 2012, which was over a decade ago, so probably not going to happen like that. I don't think he's going to be as good as he was in 2012, but I could see him have a little bit of a resurgence in the playoffs just because he's so motivated. And imagine the storylines if Quick is the goaltender that eliminates the Kings from the playoffs. I think that would just be so fun and so hilarious, and I like the Kings. It's not like I dislike that team at all. I like them. I would root for them in the playoffs, but if they do face the Golden Knights at some point and Quick is the goaltender, I would like to see Quick beat the Kings. I think that would be so much fun just for that storyline. But let's move on to the Boston Bruins because they made a couple of moves today. They traded for Tyler Bertuzzi. Going to Detroit is a 2024 first round pick that is top 10 protected, and a 2025 4th round pick. Now, Bertuzzi has not had a very good season. He's only played 29 games, so he's been a little bit injured, and he has 4 goals, 10 assists for 14 points. So not really that stellar. Last season, he was a lot better. In 68 games, 30 goals, 32 assists, 62 points. Now, it does look like that may be a career high. I mean, it's a current career high, but it looks like that might be a little bit of an outlier. It looks like he's a little bit closer to a 40-point, 50-point guy. So Boston is definitely hoping that his point totals kind of come back to normal, but I like this move a lot for the Bruins because they are in their last kind of go for it year, or at least seemingly their last year to kind of go for it, because I think I've said over the past 3 or 4 seasons that they were kind of going to be done after this season and they weren't really going to be that good the next season. And look how wrong I've been. They are first place in the NHL, and the second place team is the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're 13 points ahead of them. They are dominant this season, so I don't think they'll be as dominant next season, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reverse jinxing them, and that's why they're doing so well. I hope not, but yeah, we'll kind of have to see. But going back to the trade here, Tyler Bertuzzi is just going to be a perfect fit for the Boston Bruins because he's exactly what the Bruins kind of are, and that is just dicks. Like, a lot of the Boston Bruins are kind of dicks. You know, they're usually very physical, they can put up points, and they're just going to be mean after the whistle, and that's what Tyler Bertuzzi will also help. You know, he'll be face washing you after the whistle, he'll be punching you and roughing you up a little bit, and the Bruins just seem to find guys like that all the time, whether that it's because, you know, they transform them once they're in Boston, or they just do a very good job at targeting those types of players. But, you know, Tyler Bertuzzi fits that mold exactly. That is what he is. So it makes the roster just that much more terrifying, that much more annoying, and it should be a very easy fit for the Bruins here. Now, I do want to quickly talk about David Pastrnak as well. He was on an expiring contract, but just re-signed with the Boston Bruins for 8 years at $11.25 million a season. This will put him at the 6th highest paid player next season, in behind Erik Karlsson, Austin Matthews, Artemi Panarin, Connor McDavid, and Nathan MacKinnon. This is a no-brainer for the Boston Bruins. Pastrnak is one of the best goal scorers in the game, almost putting up 40 goals every single season, and it looks like he'll probably even hit 50 this year. Like, it's just a no-brainer. You definitely need to re-sign this guy. There was some talks about, you know, Boston maybe not re-signing him, and I always thought that was crazy. Like, I think you do everything in your power to keep Pastrnak, and signing him to this deal, I think, just makes sense. The only reason that I think this deal wouldn't have happened is if Pastrnak did not want to re-sign in Boston. You know, the Bruins are getting a little bit older. Krejci is probably going to be done after this year. Same thing with Bergeron, and those are kind of two really big pieces, of course, because that is your first and second line center, and they're only making $3.5 million combined this season, so it is going to be fairly difficult to find a replacement for both of those players. You know, you have to find a first and a second line center for the offseason here. That will be a little bit difficult. You do also have Marchand, who has 2 years left on his deal, and he's 34, so he's getting a little bit older. I could have maybe seen a scenario where Pastrnak wants to sign with a team that's a little bit more up and coming, like the New Jersey Devils, but obviously that's not what happened. He re-signed with the Bruins, and I think he likes it in Boston, so it makes a lot of sense, of course. But even with losing Krejci and Bergeron at the end of the season, they still have a lot of good players on their team, obviously, but that being said, they do have a lot of expiring contracts at the end of this year as well, so they have a lot of work to do in this offseason. I definitely think it's going to be a lot more of a retooling mode than an actual rebuilding mode, but they still got to find replacements for that first and second line center, so they have a lot of work to do, but this was a smart move for the Boston Bruins. It was a smart move for David Pastrnak as well. You know, it just makes sense to re-sign a guy like this. But anyways, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think about these trades and signing in the comments down below. And if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe for more hockey content. Also, make sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and my TikTok. Links are all in the description down below. But like I said, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.